There is only one thing that can save me on that day. Only one thing that can save you, and there is only one thing that can save me on that day. And my young friends, it is only Allah's fazl and Allah's karam. Your wujood was by Allah's mercy. My wujood was by Allah's mercy. Your existence is by Allah's mercy. My conversing at this moment in time and you listening is by Allah's mercy. My young friends, your salvation and my salvation on that day can only be by Allah's mercy. Only by Allah's mercy. And what will attract Allah's mercy, my young friends, is the a'mal that you do in the dunya. Just like this good amal that you're doing today. That in spite of the fact that you've been here for hours, and in spite of the fact that it's hot here, and in spite of the fact that hundreds of you are sitting on the ground, uncomfortable, but you're giving preference to Allah and His Rasul and the deen of Allah. This is what will attract Allah's mercy on that day. My young friends, the message that I'm reminding myself and I'm reminding you is simply this. You cannot afford to fall short. You cannot afford to fall short. There will be people that come on that day, my young friends. How many good deeds do you think they'll have? How many good do you think they'll have? If you were to take the Himalayas and place it in one pan of the balance, what do you think the weight of the Himalayas would be? I don't think we've got any equipment in this day and age at this moment in time that can work out the weight of the Himalayas at this moment in time. There will be people that will come on that day and stand before their master. They will have done so many a'mal, so many good deeds, that the good deeds that they will have done, if you put the Himalayas in one balance, their good deeds will outweigh the Himalayas. But in spite of this, my young friends, listen very carefully, they will end up in Jahannam. They will end up in Jahannam. Prophet ﷺ said once, "Atadri man al-muflis?" Atadri man al-muflis? You know who a muflis is? So the Sahaba answered, Ya Rasulullah, indeed. Muflis in Arabic, man la dirham la wala mata'. Ya Rasulullah, a dirham is he, a muflis is he who has no dirham, who has no money, no wealth, nothing. Kangal, bangur, he has nothing. Prophet ﷺ said, that's not a muflis from my ummah. A muflis from my ummah is that person, mafhum of the hadith, that will come on that day. How many deeds? They will put mountains to shame. But when he stands before his master for hisab kitab, when they stand before their master for accountability, he will find, he'll have done millions and millions of deeds, but he'll find in the court of Allah, there are millions and millions of people suing him, bringing a case against him in the court of Allah on that day. Prophet ﷺ said, وَكَذَبَ هَذَا وَشَتَمَ هَذَا وَأَكَلَ مَالَ هَذَا. He will have wronged this guy. He will have sworn to this guy. He will have taken the wealth of this guy. He will have sworn to this guy. He will have taken the mikah of this guy. He will have belittled this guy. And all these people, they're waiting for their turn. One of them will come and say, oh master, he took my pen, he never gave it back to me. He took my mobile phone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take his good deeds, give it to him. Next one will come, Allah will take his good deeds, give it to him. Like this, one by one they come in. He had billions and billions of deeds right in front of his eyes. They're all going, decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. He's swearing, he's shocked. All his good deeds are gone. There are hundreds still waiting for justice. They're saying, oh Allah, we want justice. Now what will Allah do? Allah will take their guna, their sins, their bad deeds, place them in his account. His bad deeds, place them in his account. His bad deeds, place them in his account. And he will be thrown in Jahannam. Alanki, he came before his master with so many good deeds that will put the mountains to shame. You cannot afford to fall short, my young friends. Never mind, my young friends, there will be people that will fall short by how much? How many deeds do you think they will fall short by on that day? Not a billion, not a million, not 1,000, not 100. My young friends, there will be those individuals that will fall short by one deed on that day. One deed. Picture this in your mind's eye because you're going to see it. Allah says, وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ فَلَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will place the balances of justice on the day of judgment. How big is this balance? Imam Qurtubi says, if you take the 7 heavens and the earth and just place it in one pan of that balance, this scale and this balance will be that big that the 7 heavens and the earth, in spite of its enormity, will be accommodated in just one pan of that balance. So the balance has been set. وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Allah says, فَلَا تُظْلَمُ نَفْسٌ شَيْئًا. Nobody will be wrong. No injustice will take on that place. Allah is not zalim. Not even equal to an atom will Allah wrong anyone. Allah says, وَإِنْ كَانَ مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ مِّنْ خَرْدَلٍ أَتَيْنَا بِهَا. Even if there's something equal to the weight of a mustard seed, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Anyone does equal to the weight of an atom, he will see it. Anyone does bad equal to the weight of an atom, he will see it. Allah saying, وَكَفَى بِنَا حَاسِبِينَ. We are sufficient to take hisab. Abdullah has been called. There are millions and millions of people on the plane of resurrection. His good deeds are placed in one pan of the balance. His bad deeds are placed in the other pan of the balance. There's Jannah to one side, Jahannam to the other side. And the scales, because it's so close, so close, so close, it ends up like this. He's short. Short by how much? One. You know when you miss out on something by miles, you wanted a house, you bid for it. You put in 100,000, but the house actually went for $500,000. You'll feel sad, but not as much. But if you put in £99,000, 999, and the house went for £100,000, you'll kill yourself. I lost out because of a pound. How many times you have opportunity to do good? How many times? How many times people will ask you for sadaqah, you've got the money. They don't ask you for a certain amount, they say, you know what, whatever you have, give. And you know as well as I, ittaqun nar walau bishaqqi tamaratin, that the Prophet ﷺ said, save yourself from Jahannam even if you have to give half a day. Even half a day is accepted. But your own clothes are accepted. Your own socks will be accepted. You can give anything as sadaqah as long as your heart is pure and clean. How many times you've been in that position to give, but the shaitan got the better of you and you didn't give. Today you've lost out in Jannah because of a half a day which you could have given. Prophet ﷺ said, smiling to your wife is sadaqah. Smiling with your wife is sadaqah. Fulfilling the rights of your wife is sadaqah. How long would it take you to smile? No cost, no charge. Doesn't even take a second. He's lost out on Jannah because of one little smile. So close to Jannah, his A'mal took him right to the door. But it's not good enough. It's too late. It's history. My young friends, whenever you have the opportunity to do good, remind yourself, maybe this is the one as a result of which your master will pardon you and give you Jannah. Whenever you have the opportunity to do evil, remind yourself, maybe this is the one as a result of which your master will punish you and send you to Jahannam. How can anybody be content knowing that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, he struck his right shoulder. And he took out his nurani makhluk, white makhluk. They were small like ants. Then he struck his left shoulder and he took out his zulmani makhluk, black makhluk. They were black like coal. And with regards to the ones on the right, he said, El Jannati wala ubali. You'll go to Jannah and I don't care. And with regards to the ones on the left, he said, you'll go to Jahannam and I don't care. How can anybody be content, my young friends, knowing the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Inna ahadakum la ya'malu bi'amali ahli al-Jannah, that a person will spend his entire life doing good. So this individual has been praying his namazes, his tahajjuds, giving sadaqat, looking after his mother, father, day and night, perform umrah every year, hajj every year. How many deeds? So many good deeds that the Prophet ﷺ is saying that between him and Jannah there is only 1 zira. That's how close to Jannah he is. 1 zira, 1 foot. فَيَسْبِقْ عَلَيْهِ الْكِتَابِ. What happens? Whatever's written in his destiny overtakes him. فَيَعْمَلُ بِأَمَلِ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. He ends up doing an amal of the people of Jahannam, and Allah throws him in Jahannam as a result of this. Knowing this, how can anyone be content? What have I got to be content or happy about in terms of my akhirah? My friends, you are not there till you're there. You are not there till you're there, till you don't receive your Nami A'mal, your book of good deeds in your right hand. Do not be deceived by the shaitan and your nafs that you're there, because you're not there. Tell me, my young friends, was your Nabi content? Was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam content? Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever take a break and say, look, I'm Jannati? Allah has not created a human being more afzal and more superior than Muhammad. Sayyid al-awwaleen wal-akhirin, leader of the former, leader of the latter. Shafi' al-mudhnibeen. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede for the sinners, and because of his intercession, millions and millions of people will be taken out from Jahannam and they'll be admitted into Jannah. If Jannah was created for any one human being, it was none other than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My young friends, his worship was such. كَانَ يَذْكُرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ أَحْيَانٍ. His heart wouldn't sleep. His heart would always stay awake. His heart would always be engaged in dhikr, remembering his master. His mission was to invite people to the kalima la ilaha illallah, which he would do by day, by night. My young friends, he would stand before the Almighty Allah for so long that his blessed feet would swell. And when the Sahaba would see him suffering, they would say, Ya Rasulullah, why do you exert yourself when Allah's purified you? There's a barrier between you and sin. You cannot wrong your master. And the Prophet ﷺ would say, O my Sahaba, afala akun abdan shakura, should I not be a grateful slave? His namaz was such during the night, my young friends, that he would say Allahu Akbar. He would begin Surah Al-Fatiha, and after that, Surah Al-Baqarah in one rakat, Surah Ali Imran in one rakat, Surah Nisa in one rakat, with tartil and tajweed. Every time there was a mention of Jannah, the Prophet ﷺ would ask for Jannah. Every time there was a mention of Jahannam, the Prophet ﷺ would seek protection from Jahannam. My young friends, then he would go into ruku. His ruku was as much as his qiyam. Then he would go into sajda. His sajda was as much as his qawma. This was one rakat. Bear in mind 4 rakat. Hours and hours he would stand before his master. Sometimes he would sometimes he would spend the entire night in prostration. He would fast Monday, Thursday, every week. He would fast 13, 14, 15. He would fast on the special days. He would fast in the month of Sha'ban, most of it in preparation of Ramadan. Then in Ramadan, his namaz would become longer. His tasbeehs would get more. His prostrations would become longer. His du'as would become longer. The last 10 nights, the Prophet ﷺ would separate from his wife. إِذَا دَخَلَ الْعَشْرِ شَدَّ مِئْزَرًا. He would tie his lungi. He would stay away from his wife, and he would exert himself, and he would take refuge in the house of Allah. And then even in the house of Allah, he would cordon himself so that his focus is upon Allah. My young friends, and he did this every year of his life in Medina till he passed away. The year he passed away, he did this for 20 days. This was your Nabi, my young friends. Worship by day and by night. But you know what your Nabi said? Prophet ﷺ said, nobody will enter Jannah because of his amal. So the Sahaba was shocked, Ya Rasulullah, not even you? Not even you that worships Allah day by night doesn't wrong him? Not even you? The Prophet ﷺ said, even Muhammad will not enter Jannah till Allah doesn't cover him with his message. If this was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, my young friends, where does that leave you and me? Ibn al-Jawzi. How many books did Ibn al-Jawzi write? Ibn Taymiyyah says Ibn al-Jawzi wrote 1,000 books. To this day, Muslim, non-Muslim, you will not find an individual that has written so many works, 1,000 books. Thousands of people embraced Islam at his hands. Hundreds and thousands made tawbah at his hands. What do you think his last words were when he was on the point of death? What do you think his words were? What do you think he said? These were his words. He said, Ya Kathir al-Af, he's calling upon Allah. Kathir al-Af, the one that forgives a lot. And he's saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ja'ak al-Mudhnib. Look how he's introducing to his master. Ja'ak al-Mudhnib. Yarju saf an jurmi yaday. O master, a sinner has come to you. A person that spent his entire life doing good, wrote 1,000 books. To this day, millions and millions of people are benefiting and will continue to benefit right till the day of judgment. How much thawab do you think this individual has in his nami amal on the day of judgment? And he's saying to his master, O master, a sinner has come to you, hoping that you will forgive the crimes of his hands, the gunas of his hands. Ana dhayfun, O my master, I'm your guest. وَجَزَاءُ الضَّيْفِ إِحْسَانٌ عَلَيْهِ. O my master, the entertainment of a guest is that you do good to him and you purify him and that you forgive him.